Hey everyone. Okay, so yeah, obviously the place to begin with this episode is that ending, which right out of the gate, I really can't wait to see the reactions to this episode. But yeah, let's talk about that ending where Draken Joe basically shoots Shiki point blank in the head, killing him. And yes, he is dead. And the thing is, when a story does this, it can come across as very gimmicky, or to use a TV term, very much a ratings traps. As we know that Shiki isn't gonna stay dead. There's gonna be something that does ultimately reverse this. But here's the thing, and I say this as a manga reader, the story kind of needed to do this. Because let's face facts, everyone. Up to this point, everyone including you as the watcher watching this, did probably really think of Eden Zero as nothing more than just another fairy tale. But this is where Mashima, but as a manga reader I can tell you, this is where Mashima came in and said, no, not this time. The friendship thing might be a nice motivator, keyword being motivator, but it's not going to get our heroes out of the tougher scrapes. They have to deal with. And this was the series putting a pin on that. On top of the fact that, in general, like, upon revisiting this arc, it makes me realize there are so many instances that prove the crew was not prepared to face Draken Joe. There were so many, like right from the jump, they were in over their head. They were in over their head. They had no chance of outmaneuvering or outpacing Joe. The moment they set foot on Belial Gore, that was it. It was a done deal. He won. Period. End of story. And as seen throughout the entire rest of the episode, everything just kept taking one bad turn after another, or our heroes got thoroughly defeated. They were groveling, they were begging, they were pleading Joe, say, please don't do this, don't kill us, we'll be on our merry way, just please don't do it. And yeah, Joe basically thoroughly taught them the lesson. It's good to have your little adventures, but don't fucking mess with the people you can't mess with. And yeah, like they are going to need to learn from this. And yeah, some of the things that happened during that whole scene, like Weiss getting his arm cut off, or Joe just kind of Joe acknowledging Homura as Kurenai's daughter, saying Homura has worth, and Homura has worth to him, and just the implication of Joe putting her to work. Like, it's the kind of thing that makes your skin crawl, because you just know exactly what he's talking about. Yet to Joe, again, I go back to what I said, Joe sees himself as a businessman. Everything he says, it's just business. Nothing devious about it. Like, this is one of the things that makes Joe as a villain so terrifying. Draken Joe as a villain so terrifying is that he's an evil bastard, but when you get down to it, he says, you mess with my business, I mess with you. Simple as that. And yeah, it's what else can I say about it? Joe proved you don't want to mess with him. With that being said, though, let's talk about how things play out from here. Which, warning, I'm going into straight spoilers with this part of the review. So I think I'll probably post like a, if for anyone who wants to jump over the spoilers, I'll probably post a timestamp in the description, or I'll pretty much pin it in the comments section. But okay. So what I'm basically gonna say here is. But basically what I'm gonna say here is, as you can probably surmise, the one who is ultimately gonna save this whole situation is Rebecca. Like, Rebecca is kind of the keystone in order to, like, turn this whole thing around. Like, which is to say, next episode, you're going to see the true nature of her power awaken, and the best way I can really describe her power to people, like the power of Cat Leaper, is, at least in the most straightforward way possible, is that it's time travel mixed with a bit of what I suppose you could call universe jumping. And what I mean by that is that, yes, next episode, we are going to see Rebecca shift time all the way back to before this whole incident began. But the key rub here, and Noah's going to explain this better than I will, is that it's in the process of jumping through time, she kind of abandons the previous world she exists on, because what happens when she jumps through time is her consciousness sort of leaps out of her body and into an entirely new version of herself. And this is where the number 29 aspect of things comes into play, because in the process of doing this time jumping, universe jumping thing, you could say she kind of recreates the timeline in an entirely new universe. Meaning, by technical definition, after what she does to kind of reverse time, by technical definition, Shiki is still going to remain dead. This is just going to be a new version of him. In fact, you could say that when Rebecca does this, the world she leaves behind just becomes sort of a dead world. So for as broken as the power seems, it's actually kind of morbid the more you think about it. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there are others who will explain it better than I can, but others who've read the manga who will explain it better than I can, but that's more or less how it goes. But, okay. Now, I do need to talk about the presentation of Shiki's death, because I overall really liked the way that they adapted the manga, but it's also one of those things where, I'm not going to lie, it is becoming an annoying thing where, while I don't hate the idea of the red filter, it just feels unnecessary, because following up the gunshots and following up like Drac and Joe executing Shiki, like, we still see plain as day Shiki lying lying dead in a pool of his own blood. So in context, it just makes the idea of using the filter pointless, and I don't know why they're using it. And although it's the only way I can kind of understand why they're using the filter is that it's one of those things where I wonder if this kind of censorship goes beyond just a time slot or production committee problem, because in a more cultural microcosm of things, Japan in general does have very stringent and strict views on guns, and especially how they're presented in TV movies, just media in general. So I wonder if having a different time slot or a different committee would have even made any difference. Like, guns themselves are kind of a bit of a taboo issue in Japan, so it's like, I don't know, would it have made a difference, would it not? I can't really say, honestly. But final thing to talk about, let's talk about Joe himself, because immediately after his fight with Jin is stopped by Drac and Joe himself, we get a very small taste of Drac and Joe's true power, his overdrive. And yeah, the man has terrifying aura around him, and the fact that this is only a small little sliver of what he's capable of is terrifying. But it also shows that, yeah, Shiki never had a chance to begin with fighting him. Like, once we figure out a way out of this situation, that Shiki is gonna have to find a way to tap into the true power of his own ether gear in order to at least have a chance of fighting on equal terms with Joe. Like, and as Joe displayed, like, the stage Shiki is at is barely even stage 1. So yeah, this is giving something for Shiki to shoot for, and for him to really find a way to tap into his power, so to speak. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. Just tell me in the comment section what you thought about this episode. Because again, as a manga reader, when I first watched it, when I first read this in the manga, I was like, okay, so yeah, Mashima's putting a pin on this, that there's friendship power isn't going to be the all-time savior here. So yeah, that was my reaction when I read the manga, but tell me what you guys think of this episode, and but that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Analyze Crunchyroll, be sure to notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.